friends! Welcome back to Jaja Draws. So today I'm working on a watercolor. I get real excited to do watercolors for seasonal things and landscapes. I don't know why. I want to be clear that I did my first watercolor ever, like within the last 6 months. I am not a watercolorist by any means, which just, I don't know. I just like it, and so I do it, even though I'm not real confident in my skills. Which, I think is a good attitude to have. I think it's pretty important if you wanna paint or draw or, sculpt or do anything that's any form of art. Like, just do it. You gotta do it and not worry about the fact that maybe you kind of suck at it. So when the weather changes, I get the urge to do landscapes. I guess it's just I want to be able to reflect what I'm seeing around me, because sometimes I get so used to what's going on around me that I forget to notice how beautiful it is. But when the weather finally changes, it's like my attention is drawn to how beautiful the outside is, how lovely the different seasons are, and the sky and the trees and just everything. It's beautiful out there, and I forget to pay attention to it a lot of the time. But seasons changing draws my attention to it, and so then I wanna record it. And since it's spring and the weather is turning into that heinous mess that is all ice on the ground and rain from the sky, and it's not warm, but it's not really cold, and it's just a mess. I inevitably long for the days when it warms up just a little bit, and then it's still not hot, but you can go outside and the air is chilly instead of uncomfortable. And you wear your sweater, and maybe even the rain is a delight instead of, some kind of cold that's making you wet and wishing you could be inside. So this painting, the Rainscape, was something that I've been thinking I would work on for a while. But right before I started working on it, I thought, what if I put a kid in it? Like just a child playing in the rain. When I was a child, I loved playing in the rain, as long as it wasn't too cold outside. My daughter loves playing in the rain now. She won't take a shower to save her life, but if there's water falling from the sky, she is all in. And I do still love being out in the rain, as long as it's warm enough that I'm not gonna get really chilly. So I thought a child standing in the rain, dropping their umbrella to one side. And so before I got started on this, I did make a quick sketch off of a reference drawing, and I loved my sketch. I'm gonna put it up here real quickly. I've inked it in just because I loved it so much. It's not finished. I just loved it too much to let it remain just a sketch. I loved it. I was relatively happy with how this painting turned out. But the one thing that I wish is that the child had turned out more like the child in my drawing, which I don't know. I don't think I have the skill to do that with watercolor right now. I don't think I could reproduce this girl the way that I see her in my sketch with watercolor. But maybe someday I will have that skill. And who knows? This girl has really captured my imagination. So I imagine she'll make a reappearance when it's time to do my summer painting, which I will inevitably want to do, or something like that. think one of the reasons I'm so eager for spring this year is that spring feels like a lifting of the prison that I've been living in due to quarantine. I'm not mad about having to isolate. I completely understand the necessity. I am in favor of everyone staying safe. I think it's way more important that we spend a year apart from our friends and family than that some of them wind up dead because we gave them a virus because they weren't vaccinated yet, and neither were we, and whatever. But even though we are all seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, it's still, I always get squirrely in the spring because I'm ready for it to be warm enough for me to spend some time outside. I love going on walks. I love breathing fresh air. But this year is worse than most, I think, because when the weather warms up, at the very least, I can wear a mask and sit outside 10 feet from my friend and not freeze my ass off. And just, have fire pits and picnics where nobody eats anything because it requires taking your mask off. But, you can be with your friends outside and not have to be cooped up in your house alone. And so that's why I've just really been longing for spring. And I think that's also why I felt the urge to go ahead and do this painting, even though we're not quite at this point in the weather yet. Looking out my window, there's still ice on the ground, but we're getting there. It's coming so soon. We're supposed to have a couple of 60-degree days next week, and I can't wait. I need to confess to everyone that this umbrella drove me mad. I spent a ridiculous amount of time figuring out what the inside of an umbrella looked like because it was going to be, in the painting. And then I completely failed to pay attention to the reversal of the fabric, like when it switches from looking at the inside of the umbrella to the outside of the umbrella along that curve. And I just painted it like solid triangles all the way down. And, oh, look, there's my head. Oh, you're doing a great job leaning right in the shot. It drove me crazy because as soon as I'd done it, as soon as I'd painted the triangles and there was no going back, I was like, oh, hey, I painted those as triangles. That's going to be a real problem for me later. And there wasn't anything I could do about it. I just had to brazen it out. The reason I keep leaning in is that I'm trying to get a good view of this. I wear glasses, which do a great job correcting my nearsightedness, but I also have an astigmatism, which my entire life, sometimes I just have to get really close to something, or I can't figure out what I'm doing. And I guess what that means is that every once in a while, you guys get just a delightful shot of my scalp. So I guess this is my warning that I really need to keep it clean for future videos. So I've seen other people do colored pencil on top of watercolor, and I feel like when it's done well, it does a really good job of providing better definition to what can otherwise be sort of a not muddy, not, I don't know, a looser area. I'm not sure what term I want to use that would accurately describe what I want to say, but if you're a watercolor fan, you probably already know what I mean. So I really wanted to sort of sharpen everything up, edge it out, but I didn't want to do black ink line work or anything like that. So I thought I'd give watercolor pencils a try. I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out for the most part. Certainly in the landscape, I really do like how that ended up turning out. That was, yeah. I'm not always happy with my artistic choices, but that worked well for me. I'm not as happy with how it turned out on the girl. I feel like because I was working with watercolor pencils and trying to keep it more suggestive than like line here, must outline everything perfectly. I think I ended up sort of not doing a fantastic job, particularly on the line work on her face, which since I loved the face of my sketch so much, that was just something that bothered me. But all in all, I think I don't hate how this one turned out. And as we all know, not hating how something turned out is pretty much the pinnacle of my art right now. Guys, it's going to be great someday when I get on here and I'm like, I actually really like this one. Isn't it? It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. I bet you can't wait either. Because one of my least favorite things is when artists are all the time bashing their own art. So anyway, yeah, one of these days I will get on here and be like, and this is great and I love it. And then we can all rejoice together. So last thing I want to say, I know you've probably noticed that I have a new intro, and I'm happy with that, and I have a new banner on the channel, but, you know, I don't have an outro, and I feel like most YouTubers do, so I feel like I should have one. So I need help, though, y'all, because I love Rachel Maxey's outro, but I can't steal hers, because that would be rude. So if you've got a suggestion for my outro, please let me know. Go ahead and put it down in the comments. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you all next week. Bye!